they're the vulnerable sex. They could get pregnant. They have to find the best guy. You put, what is the example I heard? You put 5 gorillas in a cage, right? 5 male gorillas and 5 female gorillas in a cage, right? And let them do what they do. You think 5 male gorillas are gonna get 5 female gorillas? No. 4 of them are gonna fuck the top male gorilla. And then the other 4 are gonna be the simps trying to like, oh, it's okay to try to simp for some gorilla puss. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be the top gorilla is gonna, and then the other 4 is gonna fuck all the girls, and then the 4 other gorillas are gonna take care of his babies. And he's gonna go on to the next chick to find. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just how we are evolutionarily. Women want to be with the top men, bro. The top men with the resources. The top. It's just the reality.
No, I mean, I get that. It's just. Because the thing is, like, then are they really there for you or for the resource or the life that they provide? Like, I don't have money, but my girl's with me and we're happy, and like, so if it was, according to you or a lot of people, she wouldn't even be with me because I ain't got no fucking money.
And be creating like reels and stuff and create your own Instagram.
I've never like been in it, like had access to it and checked it out, but I think there's one. There's like a section. There's a bunch of sections. Like you can make money copywriting. He teaches you a bunch of shit. So one of it is like make clips, and you do get paid. Like, you know what it is? I think he allows you to take the rights of using him, and if you get views from it, you just monetize and keep it yourself.
I think the way it worked,
and he gets exposure.
Yeah, that's what he wants. Yeah,
the way it worked was it was a brilliant way. The way he set it up was like, if you the clips that he puts out, and if you sign up through the hustles, like if you sign up for it, and then you put through the link, like people, let's say you create a TikTok and you have their custom link for people to sign up, you get like a commission too.
Right.
So you're incentivized.
Right.
You're incentivized to push out all that content.
Right.
So it's, let's say all 3 of us are doing it, and we get 3 more people, and then they promote him, and so everybody makes a little bit of money, but Andrew's the one, Tate is the one that gets everybody to sign up.
If you had a random YouTube account, TikTok, taking your guys' clips and putting it out on their shit, would you have a problem with it, or be like, yo, it's exposure for me? Because at this level, you would probably have, at our level, we'd probably have a problem. But if we were Andrew Tate's level, we were millionaire, like expose us, we're good. You know what I'm saying? The more exposure, the possible.
That is true.
I actually don't think I would have a problem right now with it. Like, the more people to see it, the better, and then people will funnel. Okay, where can I watch the full episode?
Yeah, but you wouldn't be a little bit annoyed if someone puts a reel and it does better than ours?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Wouldn't you be like, what
the fuck? Or
they
get more followers?
They didn't tag us. Why? Yeah.
Well, but people are gonna be like, oh, who are these people? And then it's gonna be tagged in the description or probably on the bottom. And if not, I mean, shit, people get that exposure. It's either they get it, or. And then if we don't get through as well, we don't get it anyways. So might as well, have that content be pushed out.
Different approach.
Yeah, I'm thinking it'll be cool. But yeah, man.
Though. Anyways,
so what do you make out of that whole thing? Because you were like Andrew Tate. Sounds like you're a fan of him.
Yeah, bro. I'm a big fan, bro.
You're a big fan?
I'm a big
I like
fan.
Andrew Tate,
I'm
too.
a big fan. Like he kind of like was able to articulate like all the principles I've kind of like lived my life by. Every time he says something, it's like, bro, I agree with 95% of the things he says. You know what I'm saying?
There's some stuff. I think there's some stuff that he says he doesn't believe in it. But he knows cameras on. He knows people will clip it. He's a very smart guy.
Whenever we have conversations about him or people in general, and people, I need to like hear certain specific examples. Like I don't, like what don't you agree with, and we could talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But like it's hard to like just. But 95% of things, I think, but there's just so many things that get taken out of context with him that you have to like explain. You know what I'm saying? Like a woman will be like, he says men and women belong to men. Like though, I'm like, no. Now you have to clear up the context for you. You got to be like, no. He was referring to a religious context where the dad of the bride in a wedding gives away his girl to the man, and that now it's his responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's the context gets taken out so much. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree 100% because I got to be honest with you. We had spoken about it a little while ago.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate. When I first started hearing about him, it was because it was he was just being what's the word. The
trolling,
inflammatory.
No, that's bad. Not bigotry.
Misogynistic.
Misogyny. That's the word. That's the
word.
word. Yeah, and the clips that I saw was him just being a dickhead to this girl in that little segment. But I've been a little bit more red pill lately. So
I've noticed that, by the way, in your content.
Thank you. So Instagram starts to read the algorithm that I like, and more of it is red pill stuff. So now I get different,
Just like if you watch it,
I get different clips of Andrew Tate popping up a lot, and a lot of the things I'm listening to, I'm like, there's not like it makes sense. Like what he's saying, there's nothing wrong, and in fact, you even hear like the women that are within the same conversation that they're like, oh, like they're more understanding, or they see where he's coming from, they get that part, but no one really promotes that. Only me that has red pill algorithm content being shown to him.
Yeah. Right.
I'll see that, but then everyone else still sees Andrew Tate as a dick. So whenever they're like, "Oh, I don't like Andrew Tate," I'm like, "Why?"
Right.
Oh, because he says this about women. Like, what else has he said? And he goes, "Oh, I don't know. That's all I know."
Because it doesn't feel good.
Right.
Because we're living in a society where we prioritize feelings over truth.
Yeah.
Feels over real. Feels over reals. You know what I'm saying? So if it doesn't feel good, then that's bad. But the world is a harsh place, and we have to put these truths on the table, whether they feel good or not. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree, and I feel like Andrew Tate, he's taken that approach where my only problem with him is, and many other people have said it's what he's saying is 100% true. A lot of times, like what he's saying, it makes sense, but it's how he's saying it, and like that message doesn't get really delivered well with women. Like they're not receptive for it because of how he's promoting it. But if someone else got maybe like a good looking guy who was a little bit softer spoken, but was able to use the same message, but put it in a way that maybe it's more appealing for women, then they'll be like, yeah, like I would love to take care of the children at home, rather than, no, why can't I also be in the workplace and stuff?
I just think we came to an era in society where we're so concerned with how we deliver the truth that he's just over here, like just delivering the truth harsh and brashly, which is why part of the reason why he blew up so much, you know what I'm saying? But how you deliver the truth shouldn't matter as long as you're delivering truth. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, don't be disrespectful. But if whether you're harsh, whether you're soft about it, we have to get to the truth.
I think the world has gotten too sensitive. So we just don't want to offend anybody. And it's a slippery slope where do we draw the line? You know, so now it's almost like we're getting more and more restrictive of what we can say because we don't want to offend, or we just need to accept certain things, and we don't. I think the only thing we should be accepting is the truth, whether we like it or not, because that holds over time, not whatever fantasy that you want to live in. And I feel like Andrew Tate he's a very aggressive approach when it comes to delivering the truth. But sometimes that's what you need. Like, yo, fuck the bullshit. Cut that shit.
It's a tough love. It's like your father figure, your big brother, your masculine. They don't have time to cater to your feelings. We have to get to the truth. We need to progress. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And And I think that men, I don't want to say like man versus women, but us as a man, we're forced to kind of having to deal with certain situations, while other situations for women are kind of catered to them for it to be more receptive, or for them to feel a little bit more comfortable in certain scenarios, while men normally, like in life, we just have to deal with whatever we're handed to, and we just have to
handle
overcome
it.
Exactly.
We have to deal with tough truths, bro. If you're obese, bro, you're fat, go to the gym. Like, we have to handle that. You know what I'm saying? Women, you can't tell them that. It's more about, girl, you're fine the way you are, but you don't get progress that way. We're catering. It's catering to feelings. You know what I'm saying?
And that's exactly what I'm saying. And I feel like that's the message that's being delivered. So me, when I listen to Andrew Tate speak, I'm like, yeah, you know, he's kind of a dick, but yo, that's the way it is.
It's what we need right now.
But someone else is probably like, no, he's such an asshole. But it's like, yo, but listen to what he's actually saying. Like, you're gonna tell me no? And it's like, well, yeah, but
I think he's very smart of how he says it, and he knows that. Again, we were talking about it earlier. Like, there's so much content out there, and it's so easy to get kind of like brushed to the side. So the way he became so famous so fast is because he said outlandish stuff, or stuff that people may agree with, but he verbalized it in a way that people are like, yo, this guy can't be serious. And I do believe that there's some stuff that he says that he doesn't really believe, but he says it's because it's gonna get outreach, it's gonna get like people are gonna share, people are gonna talk about it. There's stuff that he says that women shouldn't drive, which I'm like, dude, obviously you can't believe that. Or he says like women. He said some stuff, and it's like it doesn't make sense.
It's just certain things he breaks down, bro, and it's like a fact. He said, like, okay, like, would we agree that in general women have slower reaction time than men? If you throw a ball at a man up close, he might catch 1 out of 5. If you throw a ball quickly at a woman, she's going to catch substantially more less than men. We could agree on this. It's like physical strength. Like, there's certain things we can agree with, and that's okay that women have slower reaction time than men. That is okay. That is okay to say. You know what I'm saying? In general, there's obviously anecdotal exceptions. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if we just say in general, men are stronger than women.
Yes, that's of course true.
Men have quicker reaction time than women.
Yeah,
like these are okay to say. This should not be so controversial and so, you know what I'm saying? Like,
there was a video that I saw on Instagram, and it was a man interviewing a woman, and it's like, oh well, what do you feel like there's certain qualities that women are better than men? And then it's like, oh well, I feel like we're more understanding, more compassionate, more this and that, and they're like, he goes, oh, all great points. I completely understand, and I think those are awesome. He goes, now, what do you think are some points that you feel like men are better than women? And then she's like, I don't think there's really any. I think that we're all pretty even. He goes, oh, what about physical strength? You think that's one of them? He goes, no, not anymore. I think that we're also, very strong women. And it's like, okay, so now like you want to talk about how women have all these strengths, right? That they're better than men. But then we can't even appreciate or acknowledge that men have certain strengths, not just physical, just overall. Certain strengths that women have that are they're weak at. And one of them is physicality. So you can't sit there and tell me that if I arm wrestle Christina, who's going to win, dude?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's obviously differences between men and women. To say that there
Strengths
isn't.
and weaknesses.
Yeah, if you want to call it that, or just your differences in general. But yes, I mean, you can equate that to strength and differences. But men and women are not the same. So it's just a reality of it. But
we're of the same value, which we have to, right? When we say not the same, a lot of people think, oh, so men are better than women or women are better than men. No, one's the point guard, one's the center. Like they're both equally important, but we're different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Beautifully said. We're both equally important, but we have different roles.
That's why
roles and responsibilities.
That's why I think when when value comes up, like high value or like what's your value, a lot of times women think that we're discussing personal value. No. We're not talking about your personal value. We're talking about a lot of times sexual market value. Like what is your value to the opposite gender?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when we say value, in what context? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
If I say to this girl, you're not valuable, right, in the sexual market. I'm not talking about your personal value. Of course you are personally valued. You know what I'm saying? You're needed in society. I'm talking about sexual market value, how men view you. If you're obese, you know what I'm saying? You don't take care of yourself.
You have a lower sexual value.
Your sexual market value is a little, not your personal value. You're valuable.
Yeah.
When you mean sexual market value, do you mean in terms of like, let's say, bearing children?
Your mating value. How much the opposite sex wants to have kids with.
Yeah,
yes.
attractive.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, let's say if you don't want... So let's say you meet a woman who's 35 and then there's a woman who's 25. You would say that a woman who's 35, generally speaking,
would have less
sexual market value, not your personal value.
Right.
Or maybe your career value is way higher than the 25-year-old, but we're talking about in the realm of gender dynamics and sexual market value, your mating opportunities are substantially less than a 25, and that's okay to say, bro. We have to acknowledge these truths.
Well, that's scientifically that's accurate, right? Because as you get older, the women produce less eggs; they're less likely to have to bear children and have healthy pregnancies. So as women get older, obviously that's factually the truth, right? So because I like that because because sometimes we'll post clips and you would even comment on some of the stuff and you would talk about, I think, some of that sexual market value, like everything we talked about, like older women, they're still valued the same. They should be valued the same as any woman. But I think I like your
personal
argument.
Value, yes.
Yeah. But I like your difference between, well, this is who you are as a person, and what are you capable of bearing children and reproducing. And so that's important to differentiate.
Right. And I've always kind of lived. So when you're in high school and as a man, you're trying to figure out, like, I want to be valuable, right? So you figure out, like, in what realm do I want to be valuable in? So I've always came to the conclusion where I want to be valuable in the sexual market. If girls want me, then I'm doing something good in life. You know what I'm saying? So I just focused on that. I had a conversation with a bunch of my boys. I'm like, I do most of things in life for women. And they're like, why do you do things for girls? They weren't quite understanding. But if I focus my value on wanting to be the most valuable in the sexual market, then everything else falls into place. I end up making money. I end up staying in shape. So if that's the goal, being high in the sexual market value, then everything else is going to follow that. By extension, I'm going to be in shape. By extension, I'm going to make money.
For him, because those are his preferences and those are his overall values of what he finds as important. So it feels like if he does have a high sexual...
When I was in high school, my goal was, I want sexual access. These are beautiful women. I'd like to experience that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if that's the goal, then by extension, I'm going to be in the gym. By extension, I'm going to do good in my career. By extension, I'm going to be sociable and be funny. You know what I'm saying? And everything else follows because that's the goal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's
I guess you could look at it from a different aspect as well. Because if you're saying, well, I'm doing it for women because I want to be viewed to them in their favor. But if you also do the things just for yourself, be a better person, be financially secure and independent, the woman will follow. I guess you can look at it from both avenues, right?
Right.
Because if you're doing all these things for yourself to be a better person for yourself, the woman will come.
Right.
So I guess it just depends where you're looking at it.
Well, and you got to have some external thing to tell you if you're doing things correctly or not, right? So like for me, if no women want me, I'm failing. I'm obviously doing, if women want me, then I'm succeeding in what my goal is. You know what I'm saying? If you do things just for you, you kind of don't know.
There's no measure?
Yeah, it's hard to find like a measure. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I view life as a competition. I think men should view life as war. Like, we're competing for every other man wants the girl you want. They want the car you want. They want the house you want. We're competing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're in a capitalistic society. You know what I'm saying? It's a competition. So, you know.
I think having that, no, because then it does force you. I don't want to see it as a negative thing, because I feel like just listening to that almost felt like, oh yeah, it's a competition. Like, I need to be better than you. But I don't think that it's really what you mean or what it is. I think it's more, in order for you to be the best, you have to outshine other people, right? You have to kind of prove that, right? So there's measures. You know, the way that you can measure is comparing yourself to other people. So I feel like having a competition of, well, you know, I do want to succeed. I do want to be better, because now I know what's viewed as successful. I know what's viewed as handsome. I know what's viewed as wealthy. Once you have like that benchmark to be able to compare, not against one another, I just think of what society kind of deems as successful, good looking, you know, high market value in those aspects. I think that's where you kind of have an edge, because I think most men are always built on being competitive. We were raised in sports, whether it was in school as well, whatever it may be, maybe brothers and sisters. But we always want to feel like, man, we got to accomplish something. Yeah. And that's also another thing, because they say that the only way that men really feel that they're like valued in society is being able to do something. Like, show me that I'm able to do something. Respect me, that I can actually contribute to something. While, you know, for women, it could be other things, you know, being a little bit more understanding or just kind of listening to them. But again, I think it's just for us, like men, we always do have that competitive edge to always want to be better. Yeah. Because if we do come out better, then obviously we're just overall going to be in a much better position.
I think when I graduated high school and I started working for DJ Lies at Power 96, I remember I would see like the way he like in a room, he would just command the room, and all the energy would go on to him. All the men wanted to be like him, and all the women wanted to have sex, wanted to fuck him. I don't know if I can say, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, I want to be, when I walk in a room, I command that energy where you feel like the men are like, oh shit, he's that dude. And then, oh my God, the women are like, I want to fuck him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a good goal for all men to want to strive for. Yeah, be the man that all men want to be and all women want to have sex with. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. And it's not so much of like, oh, all the women want to have sex with, but it's being desirable. You know, of a woman wanting to see you and being like, damn, like, he's a good looking guy. Like, what can I see myself with him? I think that there's as a man, there's a lot of, it's like a rewarding feeling knowing that you are kind of desired. Especially since men are the one that always have to be going and attacking, you know, going after.
Yeah,
so knowing
I can see that.
When you kind of walk into a room that you're kind of dominating that presence and that energy, I think that as a man, that's also like,
I think to a certain degree that comes also with like your personal qualities, having confidence and being proud of who you are and what you've accomplished. And that way, any room you walk in, you can say, well, you know what, like, I'm the shit in a way. Because you know what you bring to the table, quote unquote, or you know your value, you know your self-worth, you know what you've accomplished. And then that way, you know, where everything, I think things will fall into place. So I think that's kind of my view on it. But I get where you're coming from and I get that perspective. But to me, I mean, yeah, like, I think those are, I just want to be the best person for myself that I could be. You were saying something about a competition with other people. I don't think it's a competition with other people. Because everybody has their own path to be on. I just want to be, do the things that make me happy. And I think everything else will, like, we talked about earlier, but like, life has a way for things to fall into place. Right. And I think the right people, you attract the right people when you are the right person. And we've talked about, you know, you don't find healthy, you know, you don't find healthy relationships, you create healthy relationships. And so I think it sounds cliche, but I think it always starts with yourself.
Starts from within.
And with
my thing is, how would you know if you're being your best self? You know what I'm saying? That's where the question I would ask. Like, what measure would you use? You know, because then now you have to be really real with yourself, right? And
that you have to be.
Right.
I think that's what it is, because if just like what Andrew Tate says, like he's very like cutthroat, he's very no bullshit. So if you can cut the bullshit, then it's just a real conversation with yourself where you're like, what are we doing here? Right. Who am I really? And I think that once you live with your own kind of intentions of who you really are, then it's that competition with yourself of constantly being a better individual.
Exactly. And it's also surrounding yourself, and Andrew Tate says it too, surrounding yourself with the right people. Because if I'm spending a lot of Chris will rub off on me, you know, inadvertently. We spend a lot of time. Too, yeah, exactly. So if Chris is really motivated and he does this, and this, guess what? I want to be better. So you were saying, how can I measure that? I measure that with the people that are around me in my life. I want to be around people who are doing better than me. Financially, physically, mentally. That's
competition, right? That's not, you're looking at external.
Right, it's not a negative.
Steel sharpens steel.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's
like,
not a negative competition. It's almost like a healthy competition.
Exactly. So
right, because at the end of the day, if all three of us are in the gym competing, we all want to compete and be the best. But at the end of the day, we're all going to rise to the top because we're competing.
I don't want to see you do bad.
I like that.
I want to see you do better. And the only way I know you're going to do better is if I do better.
And then I'll do better too.
Because if I push myself to be better, then I know that's going to push you as well.
I like that. That's really
healthy competition.
Healthy masculine competition. There's nothing wrong with that, bro. And then if we do have a push-up competition and you do 50 push-ups and we can only do 30, I want you to talk your shit. Like, I'm the shit. I did 50. Y'all can't do shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like sports, because now it motivates us to, now at the end of the day, we could all do 50 push-ups.
And then you go home, you're like, damn, I only did 30. I want to fucking do better, because I want to tell him, yo, fuck you. I can do 50 too.
And there's men that are going to crack from that pressure, and then there's men that are going to be better.
And you gotta
there's nothing wrong with, not everyone can be the, I don't want to say the alpha or the guy who overcomes. Some men are just weak, bro, and that's fine. It's been like that through all human history. You know what I mean? Girls want to mate with the best dudes. That's how we keep the species elevating. You know what I'm saying? Like the weak are gonna lose, bro, and that's fine, bro. If you want to be weak and your mental is not strong enough to compete, that's fine, bro. You know what I'm saying? But don't shame the people who want to compete, bro. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think just the healthy competition, just like you were saying. I mean, it just drives you. It really does push you. And I think about it all the time, especially when I'm in the gym. Like, there's certain movements. So I do CrossFit, so I have to learn like a bunch of random movements that I've never done in my life. And then once you start getting it, you're like, oh shit, this is fucking awesome. And then you fucking do, you start getting reps out of that movement that you're like, shit, I never knew I could do this. And then my boy will do it, and I see that he does more than me, and I'm like, shit, okay, let me fucking, I got to get on my shit, because if he can do it, why the fuck can't I?
Exactly.
Right? It's like a whole competition just in itself of like, man, they're able to do it. I'm here struggling. There's got to be a way. Boom. And then that just kind of pushes you just to be able to succeed at it. And I think that's just a driver in itself for you to constantly always be your best.
Yeah.
100%.
That is so well said. Very well said.
Welcome back to the Coffee Breakup. Welcome back, Casey Chops.
What a way to fucking
For
kick
those
off.
who don't remember, we had you, what was it, like maybe
2 years, huh?
Was it 2
2
years?
Maybe 3 years.
No, way,
3
years.
It was. We had you on the first year we were doing the podcast, which was 2020.
We had him in the first H-Gap studio.
So it was summer of 2020 or something like that.
2021, 2020?
Yeah, no, I think it was 2020, late 2020, and or something like that. We had you on a while ago. And your episode did amazing. I know you did some stuff that you said. Other people
some
didn't
controversial,
but
some not. But all, I think, very great conversation.
My competitiveness looks at your channel to make sure, like, yo, am I still like, is my episode still like top 5? Like, you know, like,
yeah, you had really good points, and I feel like it's funny because when we opened up to this conversation today, we opened up with Andrew Tate. It reminds me of like the episode that we had, that you had a lot of points that
before he even blew up, kind of, right?
Before he even, you were like the Andrew Tate before the Andrew Tate, for us at least. You know,
you're our Andrew Tate.
But basically, because there was a lot of times that you were talking about, you know, gender roles and how important it was, and I think back then we were like, no, because this and that, we should be the same and all these things. But traditionally, I do also understand that there could be certain roles, not that it's frowned upon. It's just, you know,
more suitable for women,
not more suitable for women or more suitable for men. I just feel like in a family dynamic, sometimes that, you know, it just works better. And, you know, there's a lot of, you know, back to how we started, there's a lot of strengths that men have, but there's also a lot of strengths that women have that are stronger than the men. Mm-hmm. And to those, they should be highlighted in that. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you want a man to be his best and perform in his best and what he does best, wouldn't you want him to focus on that? I feel like it's the same thing with women. Instead, now we're creating the society of feminism where it's like, hey, you're good at this. Well, fuck all that. Okay. Now we got to make sure that you're competing with men to prove that you don't need men in your life, that you can do it yourself. So it's like, well, men have certain strengths, but now we also want them to not be manly. So now we want their strengths to be what the women's strengths are. We want the women's strengths to be what the men's strengths are.
Exactly.
And that's not making sense. And I think in society, everyone's really confused. We got people making up genders and fucking and names.
My God,
and what is a woman? No one can even fucking answer that question anymore. So there's just like a lot of chaos, I think, in just what just being in the society is. And I think a lot of that goes from like just letting go of what the roles are, what we are, what we identify as. But yeah, I just think that, you know, as a man and a woman, there are certain strengths, and I feel like it's okay to have those strengths. And if you have certain weaknesses, it's also okay to have those weaknesses. That's why you have the opposing party, your partner,
100%.
to pick up that slack. I don't think there's anything wrong, but there's just has to be that dynamic that works within your relationship.
Your partner is not going to be the splitting image of you. And it's okay to acknowledge that what you were saying. So like what I pride myself is, like, when me and my girlfriend, like, we go somewhere, or let's say I'm traveling, we travel somewhere. She knows that she could trust me to take the lead. I get shit done. She doesn't have to worry about anything. And she trusts me to make the right decision. I think you got to have that in a relationship. You got to have somebody who takes on the role as, okay, like, follow my lead, you know? And I think that's one of the things you were saying, you know? Having that leadership, having that one has to lead, the other has to follow, is what you were saying. And so it doesn't always have to be the man. You even said it too. It could be the woman. But you got to have that strength and weakness, that leadership, the one. And I feel like your woman has to be able to trust you, man. She has to know that you're going to make the right decision in the best of your ability, you know, for the two of you. And that's very important. And I think a lot of times people don't realize how vital that is to a healthy relationship.
And I also think that in today's society, you will even have opposing views that will be like, well, that doesn't mean that you need to always take the lead, Marvin, just because maybe she should have the opportunity to also take the lead, which I feel like is the problem. Because if that's your strength and that's what you're good at, she trusts you doing that, why do we need to shift the role or shift the responsibility when that is your strength? And I feel like now that's what the war is. It's like man versus woman. Who's better at what? Should they be equals? Essentially, we are equals. We balance each other out. The same way that Dr. Hasty says. He's like, this is what I contribute. This is what you contribute. It's not like exactly the same, but we're both contributing to the same bucket together. Right. Yeah. And the bucket is full. Right. We both contributed to that bucket in our own ways. It may not be with what you did and I did specifically, but together within our strengths, we were both able to contribute together.
You got the quarterback and the wide receiver. You need someone to throw the ball. You need someone to catch it. The quarterback's going to call the play, though. And the wide receiver's got to listen to the quarterback. You can't have the wide receiver and the quarterback both
make it all.
You know what I'm saying? You need somebody to submit, and the word submit is so loaded that you know what I mean. But there's nothing wrong with submitting to someone who you trust. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the feminine imperative, is to submit to. So women want that's why they call him daddy. Come on, you know what I mean? Like, they want to submit to somebody that is masculine, that can handle things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, bro.
But you also have to create the environment where that woman is comfortable to submit to you. A lot of men don't have that. She has to submit. She has to do what I do. But then they have no leadership. They have no resources. They have no backbone. 1,000%. And it's like, how's a woman gonna submit to you? Shit, you know, they can't take your lead. You know, because you're not a leader.
Right.
So I'm sorry to break it to you, but and you were saying it comes natural to a woman. A woman will trust you, but you have to be trustworthy. You know, and a lot of men aren't trustworthy, and that's on you. It has nothing to do with women. Or competent, both.
And it also depends on the dynamic, where maybe you don't have a strong leader type of man, just like you said. Yeah. Then we can't have the woman won't be submissive. That won't be the woman that they're gonna date. Someone that probably will dominate him, and then he will be more of the submissive. But if that's what works in their relationship, that's what works in their relationship. But there shouldn't be a force of, well, we both need to be doing these things. We have to do the same things together. No, sometimes if that's what you're good at, do what you do. Let me do what I do.
Yep. Right. It depends. Like I look at it as like a spectrum, right? You have like femininity on this side and masculinity on this side. I think the best relationships come from someone who's masculine and someone who's feminine. A lot of people fall in the middle, right? You have some guys that are kind of like 75% masculine, 25% feminine.
Yeah, you have your extremes,
right? So when you have two people that are kind of more in the middle of the spectrum, now your relationship is like roommate-ish. You kind of are like roommates. No one's really leading. No one's really submitting, because because you're kind of like in the middle of the spectrum. I think relationships work the best when you have two polar opposites, someone masculine, someone feminine, and boom, the dynamic opposition molds you. When you have people that are kind of like both masculine and feminine, they both lie in the middle of the spectrum, then you're, like you said, you're kind of roommate-ish. You're kind of, this is the 50-50 relationship. You know what I mean? This is the you know, there's no like definitive masculine. It's kind of like ambiguous. It's like am I making sense?
Yeah, you know, you're super making sense, because I'm thinking, at least, because when we have super masculine and super feminine, at least we kind of want to associate roles to them already of what they should be doing, because one's super masculine, one's super feminine. I think it comes easier, because if we get into the middle, it gets blurred. It's
right,
like,
exactly.
Who is who now?
So if we raise our kids and teach them, the boys, or be masculine, let's push you over here. We tell the girls, we're going to push you over here to femininity. Now, boom. Now we're going to have, you know what I'm saying? But if we start making everything just in the middle, and we got men that are like women, women that are like men, and everyone's in the middle of the spectrum, it gets too blurry. Like you said, it's too...
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What do you think about... I'm curious to know what you think about that.
About
this right there. Yeah, because you're very... I don't know what your position is anymore, honestly, because I feel like you're more of like 50-50, whatever. But
I mean, I loved having Dr. Hasty on, and for me, it's like, I don't like the whole 50-50, you know, and I think we're on the same page. It's like, I give it my 100. I don't expect anything. My partner will do the same, and that is what I believe in. Now, if you put that in practice, you know, I get where you're coming from, where you have, but I also don't. I do agree being masculine. It's okay for men to be men, for women to be women. I don't know exactly how I would put that into how my relationship is, because like I don't live with my partner, but you were saying like the roommate thing and 50-50, and I know you had back then when we had Yon, you had a problem with, I don't know if you had a problem, but I think you were kind of opposing, like, if you live with your partner, a man's supposed to always pay for everything. I think you're very much on that
Yeah,
level.
I just think if
Correct
that's
me if I'm wrong.
if the situation, I mean, the 50-50 talk all the
I know, I hate it.
Like, but I just feel like over time, if a woman is paying half the rent, a man is supposed to protect and provide, right? If a woman is paying half the rent, she's gonna lose respect. It's not gonna last. She can't respect you, bro. Respect is the most important thing. A woman doesn't have to like you. She don't even have to love you, but she has to respect you.
But do you agree? Like, I mean, dude, things are tough, man. You really expect a man to pay for everything?
Dude, you didn't hear what Gabrielle Union, what she had said in a post that from one of her exes, that she felt like she could cheat just because she was paying for.
Look,
right, but that's anecdotal. That's one incident. I mean, you can't really base the whole argument.
Put it like this: your goal should be
one.
It should be your goal to pay the rent. If you can't right now, then that's fine. Just know you have work to do, and know that the clock is ticking. Because as the girl and the girl who's paying 50-50, or the feminine, whoever's, because the guy could be the feminine, the girl could be the masculine, right? So it doesn't matter. But if over time,
you think it takes away from the relationship over time, if a woman has to contribute to the
monetarily, yeah, because she's not going to be able to be in her feminine energy all the way. Because now you can't expect her to do certain feminine things, because now she's doing the masculine. She's has to work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so you wouldn't want her to work. You wouldn't want her to like stay at home.
I prefer my girl. Look, I've thought about this a lot, by the way, but I think because I prefer my girl not to work. But then you can't really tell in today's world, like, yo, don't work. Like, what are you gonna collect an allowance from me and shit? Like, we could share the credit card, whatever. But so I've thought about it. I'm like, I just want my girl. I'm gonna pay the rent. You could work part-time if you want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to work full-time. I'm not expecting
you don't have to feel responsible.
The pressure is not, if you don't want to work, you don't have to. Contribute in other ways is fine. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to work, you could have a part-time job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm not...
I know what you mean.
The thing is, it sounds great on paper, but it's not. Is it really applicable to the modern world that we live in? How expensive everything is. And if I'm with somebody, and let me just finish my train of thought on that. If I'm with somebody and we have goals and we have dreams, we have aspirations. If it's a house, if it's this, and I think you're on the same page too. You can't just do it by yourself, and it's a team effort, right? Wouldn't you want two people to work on things together and creating a life for the both of them? Well, you know, and you've even said it too. You know, you feel like Christina loses respect because you ain't paying for everything, right? Christina is contributing too. Do you think she loses respect of you for you because you don't pay for everything? I don't think you believe that.
No. I'm glad you brought that up because it's funny because I'm like, damn, what kind of roles and responsibilities do I have with Christina? Now, in a perfect world, sure, I would love to be the breadwinner, and I would love for Christina to just be there, and if we're able to have kids, because then I know that the children are gonna receive the attention, and also have that mother figure in the household to be able to raise them while I'm out working. That would be the ideal, and hopefully that would be the goal one day, But in today's society, we do both contribute. And I mean, it is what works for us at the moment.
Right.
But there are other roles and responsibilities that we'll each take.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not going to go into them now because I can't even think of any really. But certain things like whenever we go somewhere or just like handling certain situations or having certain conversations or certain presences, like whenever we go somewhere or something, there's always like, well, the man will lead. So I'll walk in, I protect, I do this. So there's other things that I'll take.
I get that. But also at the same time, so she knows that you handle shit, but at the same time she also pays for stuff. You guys live together, finances are somewhat split. So I think it's important to lead when you can lead, but it's also be realistic. Like you can't pay for everything.
I would suggest
she doesn't
this.
expect you to.
If budgeting has to be 50-50, I would say I suggest the man pay for the rent. And then let her pay for other things like the food and if she got to take the electric bill, whatever. But as a man, I would suggest to pay for the castle because that's easy for her to respect. Let me tell you what I did. So I was talking to this girl from New York, and I moved her. This happened a month ago, and I moved her. I said, let's do a 7-day trial, and I moved her in with me.
7-day trial?
Yeah, I was talking to her, and because I've never lived with a woman before, so I talk all this shit, and in my head I'm like, I gotta see how this really operates. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I moved her down for a week. She ended up staying for 10 days, and I paid for everything. Right? She just moved in with me. Right? I already have my spot. Just move in. You know what I'm saying? And obviously she ain't pay no rent, and she naturally woke up. I work late night, right? So she woke up way before me, like 3 hours before me. And when I woke up, she was doing laundry. The crib was already picked up, and she didn't. And she was cooking a little bit. You know what I mean? Made coffee, and I didn't ask her to do none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because the night before we went out, I paid for the bill. I took her to a Heat game. Did all these things. I'm giving her that novella that she wants. You know what I mean? Yeah. And she's naturally gonna do those things. You know what I'm saying? So but then I looked at the end of the 10 days. I'm like, all right, shit, a little expensive. Those $17 meals turn into $75. I don't know why when it's one person it's a $20 meal, but when it's two people it's $150 meal. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah.
But then I think about she cooked, so I saved money. I didn't eat out every day, so I saved money here. There's certain things I did save money on. You know what I'm saying? It's an expense.
My time also, because there were things like you weren't the one cleaning, you weren't the one doing this.
Right.
Now you can allocate your time.
I didn't have to pay Maria to come through and clean the crib. You know what I'm saying? Like I had. She did it, and she didn't complain, and she naturally did it. You know, and we didn't even talk about it. She just naturally did it, and I think that is an example of if you just handle those things, that's what a woman wants. That she wants to fall into that position of just taking care of things.
I get you, but so you did it for 10 days, dude. Think about it long term. It's easier to do that, and it's even easier. I'm glad you experienced with it, but do you, in the bottom line, do you feel like that's you were doing the math, whatever? Were you able to sustain? Would you have been able to sustain that? How did? And so what happened to her? Yeah. You guys still it didn't work out.
Yeah, there were certain things that it didn't work out.
Outside
and there were certain
that.
things that kind of but yeah, as far as the dynamic of us two, it worked. And I think any man, that's a good goal to have. If you're not there, that's fine.
I agree.
I think every man should have a goal. You want to be able to provide for your girl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're not there yet, that's okay. But just know you got work to do.
100%.
And have a little bit of fire under your ass, a little bit of urgency to be like, all right, I got to get this done. Don't feel don't be content with the 50-50.
I agree. But I don't 100% agree. But I don't like shaming men for not being able to.
No, but it's like the push-up thing. You can't do 50 now, but this guy's doing 50. You better get there.
Yeah, you can't just be like, you know what? I'm cool with doing 30.
It's my truth. I'm fine. Because the dude who's living in reality is going to pass you, and it's just a competition. Because then your girl's going to start looking at, okay, why is he paying for shit? Why did, you know what I mean?
It's not even that. It's just the desire of doing better and the desire of always succeeding and being ahead and always wanting to progress. And I feel like that's that. So for example, my situation, let's circle back to me. Christina knows that I'm busting my ass, that we bust our ass in everything that we do, and we're trying to create something. So it's almost like an investment, really, that she's just buying really low right now. And hopefully when we get to the point, maybe it'll be a year from now where we this blows up.
This shit
could be 5 years. But she will be reaping huge benefits, and my goal at that point will be like, hey, Christina, we fucking made it. Do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Let me explain to you. It's better to have a girl that is with you on this stage than to have a girl on my stage. Because now I'm the one who has to read, is she using me from what you know what I mean? She bought low with, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
now
yeah.
you could trust her in a different way. And that's your
true.
motive. That's going to be the best feeling, right? When this shit blows up and you tell your girl, yo,
Quit your
the
job.
rap. Don't even worry.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
Like
100%.
so that's better to be from nothing to something.
But I think that's the small difference of this whole conversation, because I think this all started with, the man's got to do this and the man's got to be the one to do that. But in today's society, it's difficult for that to be the solution. But if at least the man is striving to be that man and always trying to progress, not just accepting and complacent in that situation, I think that's the difference. As long as you're always willing to.
Maybe 1 in 5 men can do that in this country. Maybe 2 in 5. And it just get there, bro. It's if you don't have it in you, okay, you're not that guy. It's fine. You know what I mean? I'm not the type to be like, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to get there. Like, but if you don't want to be that 1 in 5 man, that's fine, bro.
I agree, and it's scary because I feel like that translates to everything. So like the push-ups, the fact that, for example, you did 50 and I'm doing 30, my reaction and my response to that, it's going to translate to everything else. So then in the workplace, in a work environment, if it's one guy versus me for a role that we're both applying for example, you don't want to be the one doing 30 push-ups and then the guy who's applying for the same job as you, the one doing 50 push-ups. So, and call that in numbers. Maybe I did 80%, 100% of my goal, but homeboy did 250% to his goal. Why did I stop at 100? It's the same thing. I have more work to do. Because clearly there's someone else that's better, and that person's going to get more results and more opportunities because that man's always working to be better than I am. Right. So if I'm complacent, then I can't be upset that there's someone else that's doing better than me.
If views were money, you guys are. I look at your, because look, we're all respectful, right? But it's our in the podcast room, it's competition. I look at y'all like, damn, bro. They pass me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if views were money, it's like, yo, these guys are splurging on their girl, going crazy. I got work to do.
Right.
That motivates me, bro. It's not. There's no hate. There's no.
It's all love. Yeah.
And now, if I were to just say, I just want to be my best self, or just compete, I'm not worried about them. I'm competing. How am I going to get better if I'm not looking at a competition? I have to have an external measure to know if I'm compete. You know what I mean? Like, and women want that. Women want men that are competing. Like,
I think it's important to always have that self-competition to yourself and always wanting to, like, having that internal, like, knowing what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
But if I know what I bring to how do you know what you bring to the table? Isn't there a comparison? Aren't you comparing to something?
You have to know. Yeah, you have to
know that you bring something to the table.
Yeah.
How do you know you bring something to the table? It has to be a comparison to someone else who's not bringing something. So it's always some sort of measure, and always an external competition or a comparison. Because in order for me to know that I feel like I am contributing, it's because someone else isn't.
The girls I like have a lot of guys in their DMs. I like women that a lot of guys want. That's just the type of women. I like that type.
You like fine bitches.
So, huh?
Yeah.
You like
I like
fine
beautiful
bitches.
women. I like beautiful
He
women,
likes
bro.
competition, though.
I like beautiful women. From the first time I was in 6th grade, I was like, damn, I want her. She's the prettiest one in the school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I got to understand that there's going to be dudes in her DM that look like me, that probably got more money, more in shape, more. I got work to do, bro. This shit is a war, bro. There's no other way I can conceptualize life and sleep at night, bro.
Yeah.
There's no other way. Like, you know?
Yeah. I agree.
And it's okay. It's okay to want to compete, bro. Like,
yeah, I agree.
You know?
That is true. Yeah. I'm just trying to think, man, because like, and you were saying, like women are naturally. It sucks that because we live in Miami, and you even said you like beautiful women, and they naturally, I guess, gravitate to guys who have money, who have the resources.
As they should. They're hypergamous. They're the vulnerable sex. They could get pregnant. They have to find the best guy. You put, what is the example I heard? You put 5 gorillas in a cage, right? 5 male gorillas and 5 female gorillas in a cage, right? And let them do what they do. You think 5 male gorillas are going to get 5 female gorillas? No. 4 of them are going to fuck the top male gorilla. And then the other 4 are gonna be the simps trying to, like, oh, it's okay to try to simp for some gorilla puss. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be the top gorilla is gonna, and then the other 4 is gonna fuck all the girls, and then the 4 other gorillas are gonna take care of his babies. And he's gonna go on to the next chick to find. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just how we are evolutionarily. Women want to be with the top men, bro. The top men with the resources. It's just the reality.
No, I mean, I get that. It's just because the thing is, like, then are they really there for you or for the resource or the life that they provide? Like, I don't have money, but my girl's with me and we're happy, and like, so if it was, according to you or a lot of people, she wouldn't even be with me because I ain't got no fucking money.
Because the resources are part of me. That's the great thing about being a man is you could build yourself. You could build yourself into that dude. You know what I mean?
But then also think about it. Like, yeah, you can have all the money and whatever, but you can also lose it. It happens all the time. So she's gonna leave you when you don't have money. Also sucks dick, dude.
No, you're right. But that's why she's got to fall in love with the money comes as a byproduct. She's got to fall in love with the ambition, that competitive drive. That he's gonna go down and do those push-ups and try to do more. That's what she falls in love with. But that's the thing. A lot of people twist it up. Like, women are not in love with the money. They're in love with the characteristics that come with the man who can make money.
Sure, but then when the money's gone, are they going to stay by your side? Are they going to ride it through?
That's when the man has to know what type of woman he's got and put her through tests and start analyze her.
But that could be difficult when you have the resources, when you have money. A lot of women will flock to you. Mm-hmm. And it's one thing to have the drive, have the ambition. But any given day, you can lose everything. And yeah, you can work your way back to get some more and more resources and stuff like that. But that might take time. Is this person going to be by your side through hard times? And I feel like a lot of women wouldn't be. Maybe you view it differently.
Right. And they shouldn't, bro.
They shouldn't.
Because guess what? If my woman, what's the female equivalent of losing all your money, all your resources? If a woman just lets herself go and eats and gets obese, I'm leaving her, bro. But listen to me. You
laugh. Yo, aren't you on his side on this?
I mean, dude, it's different. It's not the same. I don't think it's the same thing. If I can lose my job, and that's out of my control. I can lose my business. I can go under. That could be a lot of variables. But gaining weight, that's a lot. I'm in control of that.
Yeah, but you're not going to lose everything in your business. If you're smart, you're going to invest your money. You're going to diversify yourself to where you're not going to lose everything. Like, rarely do you lose everything.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's an extreme.
I think you can. I'm not talking about like you're rich as fuck and then you like lose hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm talking about you doing well. You have a good high paying job, 6 figures. You make 2. You have a good job. But next thing you know, you get into an accident. You get laid off. The company goes under. You lose your, investments and And it's like, well, so high income earner. Mm-hmm. It's not a multimillionaire, but you can lose your resources. You can lose your income. Is your person gonna stick by your side? Or is she gonna say, "Yo, fuck, he's broke"?
But to his point, and I feel like that's
they shouldn't.
But my only concern is it's because, for example, in your case, you're like, "Well, I love really beautiful women," right?
But I just want to say this: kids, when you put kids in, this changes it's slightly. So what we're talking about, these situations, these hypotheticals, are without kids.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to put that there.
Yeah. They're not gonna leave. Well, actually, they might.
Well, they might also. Yeah. No, because I'm thinking, well, man, I want like the baddest bitch. I want her to be the hottest, whoever. Like that's what I'm attracted. That's what I like. It's now up to you to make sure that if you want this to be your life partner, you find the values within the finest ones that is going to reciprocate the energy that you're looking for.
And let me say this too.
It's gonna stick there. You don't want to just get a fine bitch because she's fine.
Yeah.
You want to get the finest bitch that's going to care about you. And wants to be there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can mold. The thing about women is they're very impressionable. You can mold them. Like, for example, you have your girl, right? Eventually, she's going to like the same music you like. She's probably going to eventually have the same political views you have. She's going to eventually talk like you and say the same slang. Eventually, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
So you can, which is why men like younger women. Because they have it, they're easier.
How young?
Obviously, bro, we're talking about legal age. You know what I'm saying?
Leo, if you ask Leonardo DiCaprio, he might sound the womb, though.
People hate on that, bro. These girls that are already past their fertility, they hate him.
But one thing that I didn't want to comment on, it's funny because when the woman is younger, what? No, when they're younger, to your point, it's you're right. They are more impressionable. Like you're able to, I don't want to say mold them. That kind of sounds like an ugly word, but it's kind of easier to find someone who wants to learn and wants to adapt.
Women want a superior, bro. Women want to be taught. They want to learn from their man. What I experienced so much, bro, is that I've gone through so much and I've worked to better myself in my mental, my physical, everything. That when I find a girl, I want to help her, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these women that I find, they're just haven't done any self work at all. You know what I'm saying? Like they're beautiful with no self work.
Yeah,
but I also feel like you as a man, you had to, and you said it earlier, you have to do the work. A lot of women, they're pretty. Life is a lot easier for a pretty woman than it is for a guy. Even you're a good-looking guy, but you've had to work for everything you've had. And I'm not saying women don't have to work for what they have, but a lot of times women are put in positions where it's a little bit easier for them to succeed. you know, or in the things that they want to do. So for you, when you meet a young woman or you meet a woman, a lot of times you have had more life experience, you know, and so it happens a lot. So yeah, like, and I get where you're coming from, where like I want to teach my partner, I want to learn with them together, but I also want to be like, this is how you do this is how you do that. Let me teach you, and let me help you become a better person too.
Yeah, my boundaries are strict, bro. Like this girl, when she was living with me, she's like, yo, you have no, like, what do you, like, there's no sugar, there's no nut. I'm like, I don't eat that shit. Like, if you want to live with me, there's going to be no sugar in this crib. For real? Yeah, bro, there's going to be no doodles, no fucking Cheez-Its, none of that bullshit, bro. And if you have an issue with that, then you could, you know, people run from strict boundaries, but I see the beauty in strict boundaries. That's how I lived my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, like, if you don't want that, that's fine. If you have an issue with that boundary, but we're going to stay on point. We're going to look good. We're going to be in shape, and we're going to limit our sugar, bro. That's a rule in my house.
So
if
no
you have an
sugar
issue
in
with
your
that,
house?
No, bro. I mean, obviously, I'm not like a sugar Nazi where it's like we can indulge every once in a while, but it's not going to be in the crib like Oreos all the time. You know what I mean? That's how you easily like.
I can see that,
and that's a healthy boundary to set as a man. That's not controlling. That's not controlling. We're gonna go. I told you, we're gonna go to the gym, and I'm gonna go with you. If you have an issue with that, I'm not gonna go to the gym more than you. I'm not going to let my girl go to the gym less than I go to the gym. So either you're going to keep up with me, or I put the boundary there. I'm going to move. You know what I'm saying? Either you're going to submit to my boundaries, and these are healthy boundaries. I'm not telling you to do something that's going to fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's another kind of big issue right now. It's preference. You know, your preference is that's what you look for in a woman. You want a woman that's gonna be wants to be healthy,
wants to be her best self,
wants to go to the gym, wants to. So the same way that women have their own boundaries, where they have their own preferences. Where I need a man to make this much money. I need him to be this tall. I need him to have this hair color, this eye color. He needs to be doing this and that. The same way that there's preferences for there, you have preferences as well. Where hey, I don't want a woman that's overweight. I don't want a woman that's gonna want to eat sugar. I don't want a woman that's not going to do shit. I want her to be active. I want her to be healthy. So those are your preferences, and there's nothing wrong.
No fat bitches.
The thing is, bro, the thing is,
on the front door, as soon as you walk into his crib,
it's like a scale on the bottom.
Yeah. Like the scale at the door is crazy.
If it's more than 130, it like locks. It doesn't open.
Like a fucking gun. I'm kidding.
Nah, but we could work. We're gonna.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Nah,
the gun was too far. The scare is okay. Close the door.
Anyways.
No, but listen, I agree. I think there's boundaries are very healthy, and especially because a lot of people end up in relationships they should have never been in the first place. You know, they date months, years, and then it's like, well, this didn't work out. Well, you didn't see this. Why didn't you see this coming early on? And those are certain common patterns that came apparent at the beginning, but people are like, oh, you know, like I'll accept that. You know, it'll be okay. Dude, if you have certain boundaries and convictions that you believe in, whether that is the sugar, whether that is the active lifestyle, I think that's really what it sums up to: being healthy, being fit, taking care of your body, your mind, your soul. Those are acceptable boundaries, and having non-negotiables is a good thing.
Yeah, if we're together, we're not going to strive to be our best self. What are we together for, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of being in a relationship if we're just gonna I just need someone to watch Netflix with on the couch? Like, that's not. Yeah. That's how most people live relationships, bro. But if we're gonna get together, we have to be our best self, and I want you to hold me accountable too. I got things that I'm not great with. You know what I'm saying? And if I overindulge, I would expect you to check me. You know what I'm saying? Like.
I kind of also want to use that to go back to something you said earlier about the spectrum, you know, of like how you can have someone super masculine, super feminine. And you were saying how that kind of makes the most sense in relationships, like the healthiest kind of approach, then rather than where they're very similar. Because I think what would be the point of life? What would you say? I think Hasty or someone has said it best, that it's companion. You know, like
companionship.
Companionship, where ultimately, you know, you want to be with a partner, or, you know, longevity, long term, you want to be with someone, happy, children. At least that's how I see it. You know, like what would be the point of life if you're not able to share that with someone? And I feel like it's best when you do have someone who's super masculine and super feminine kind of playing their roles. Because imagine if you had a constant competition with your partner of who does what, or we're both doing something and this and that. Long term, do you feel like that's really going to be like healthier than when there's two kind of opposites? Because then what would work best, like over time, long term, when if you can have two people where I know what my strengths are in the masculine side, and the woman has her strengths on the feminine side, there's always going to be a balance of, well, long term, I know my role, you know yours. But if we're constantly battling, what's going to happen long term? Who's gonna take the edge? How does that develop?
I'll give you another example. I was talking to this other girl a couple months ago, and women are generally agreeable, and men are generally disagreeable, temperament-wise, right? But so I'm talking to this girl, and she's disagreeing with everything that I say, bro.
Like what were you saying?
It'll be right.
Women shouldn't drive.
It'll be certain things, like it'll just be like, and when I say disagreeable, it could just be like, we're going to the restaurant. Do you know where you're going? You know what I mean? Just like combative, disagreeable, like
want that,
but that's what I'm saying. It's like we can't be together, bro, because your temperament is too masculine. It's too disagreeable. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I stopped talking to her because of that. Because the conversation was always a battle. Then there's another girl who's just agreeable. I got you. It's cool. Like go. Like I trust you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I agree.
I love my girl, but like I love that about my girl. Like we'll be like, hey, let's do this. Okay, let's go. Or let's do this. Like she's always cool. She's always down for everything.
Fire, bro.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's important. I think
perfect.
Christina's like that too, right?
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And it's okay to
like
be disagreeable for certain
Of
things,
course.
right? But there's some women that are just disagreeable. Everything will say you. I'm like, bro, what are we doing?
And
Like,
some of them they don't even disagree because they generally have an opposition view. Sometimes they just disagree because for the sake of like, let me talk my shit.
know what she said to
And
me
that's
too
even
when we were
worse.
disagreeing?
Yeah, or like because they get into their masculine as if
like,
they feel like they need to.
We're
It's
walking
like-
in Brickell, and she goes, damn, you never let me get a one up on you. Like she even conceptualized it as like a battle. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, why is this a competition? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, I'm 10 years older than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not, you know, like.
Yeah, I feel you.
How old are you now? If you don't mind me asking?
34.
34.
Yeah.
Okay.
How old are you if you got them?
I'll be 30 in like a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm 30. I'm 30.
The woman you generally, just briefly, are they tend to be younger?
Of course.
Yeah, bro.
And if so, by how much?
Yeah, I mean.
34? I mean, yeah.
No, I mean,
If
I just
they're
prefer a woman
older,
in her
though?
20s.
I know.
You know what I
Early
mean?
20s?
Huh?
Mid 20s? Or just
I think the
depends?
perfect age would be like 25 to like 28.
Is that number going to go up as you get older, or are you feel
That's
like
a good question. They did a survey where they asked men like in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and every single tier of man wanted a woman in their 20s. It doesn't.
know,
That's just
man.
like a
I don't
study.
know.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
tough.
That's what they did. It doesn't. You know, this is the thing. As you live life and you go through trauma masculinizes you, right? So femininity has to be preserved. Masculinity has to be forged. So as you go through, that's why you want young women who haven't gone through shit. You want to protect them from the world because that makes that masculinizes them. You know, I want to look at this. I screenshotted it the other day, bro, and I was like, holy shit, this is the realest shit I've ever read. It says, when the world hardens a man, he becomes masculine. When the world hardens a woman, she becomes less feminine. Masculinity is forged, femininity is preserved. An 18-year-old woman has much value. An 18-year-old man has little value. Femininity is intrinsic and must be preserved by avoiding hardship and trauma. Masculinity is extrinsic and must be earned by overcoming hardship and trauma. So, in order to become a man, you have to go through the bullshit and overcome that masculinizes you.
I agree.
But if women do that, that's gonna it masculinizes you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you want to preserve and protect femininity.
Yeah, because think about it. Like women, well, if they're older and let's say they're single or they're probably successful in the workplace, maybe they prioritize their careers ahead of it. They have learned to have to be on a masculine,
And they've gone through so much bullshit with men that now they're bringing all that bullshit into why were you so sweet with this guy and he fucked it up? Now I got to deal with all the bullshit because of all the trauma you've gone through, and you know what I mean? Like,
it may not be like real traumas, but like just experiences of
hardship,
or not in the workplace of having to be that woman and having to compete against other men. Like now that's being forged in her mind that the only way that she feels that she'll be successful in this society is by being also a man, essentially working just as a man. And I go back to what we were talking about the spectrum, because if you have a very masculine man and a very feminine woman, if the goal is to have companionship over time or to live with someone to have many years as possible, you want to have that dynamic. But if you are a man who's in his masculine, who's had to work hard and had to deal with shit where you really have learned and you forged that masculinity, how are you going to have a healthy long-term relationship with a woman as well, who has the same traits and has gone through the same things? Because then that happens with what just recently happened with this last girl. Everything's always a challenge or a combative
struggle,
response.
a power struggle.
Right, because that woman has gone through basically the same or more in the workplace, where she's had to kind of like overcome all these hurdles. So now if a man's like, hey, let me handle it, it's almost like, Why do you always?
Which is why in traditional relationships, right, the woman doesn't leave the house until she gets married. You know what I'm saying? Like I was talking to this girl. I'm talking like about 3 girls already, but I'm talking this girl. She lives in DR and she's 27 years old and she just now moved out of her parents' crib.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me because I know you didn't live on your own, go through all the bullshit and masculinize yourself. You know what I mean? Like these American girls, they leave at 21, they go to college, they do all this, and they're hardened, bro. They're hard. That's why men like young women, bro, because they're.
But is it femininity or is it like purity? Do you feel like they get maybe confused? You think that's the same?
I can see how they're. I don't think it's the same.
Know if they're the same.
I think they're related.
Yeah, they're.
I think they're associated to one another. You don't think so?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. That's why I'm asking a question.
I
brought it up because I feel like people might get that confused. Like, oh, you say because you were saying like if they're young, they have that femininity. They're pure, they're untouched. But is there really like? So if they get older, even if they live at home and stuff like that, or even if they move out, you feel like they lose that purity because they've been in more relationships, etc. Perhaps I don't know. I agree
with the more bullshit and hardship you go through, the more masculine you become. I agree with that overarching theory. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that too.
Yeah.
You just go through more and you're forced to like survive. You're forced to figure
Men
shit
have
out.
to go through that.
Yeah. So
it toughens you up.
Yeah.
And for a woman, that might not be a good thing, is what you're saying.
Right.
In the overall.
Well, just limit it. Limit the, that's why men have to protect women. We have to protect them from trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like that's our goal as men, in my opinion.
Very interesting, man. I don't know. It's a great conversation. I never thought about it that way, so I'm glad you brought it up. But it's interesting to see. I just don't like. I don't know if purity and if I agree with purity and femininity are like the same.
Well, would you want a pure woman? Is pure attractive to you?
Of course.
Like who would want an impure woman? You know what I'm saying?
What define pureness?
Right.
Because
Okay.
less sexual partners. I mean, yeah, sure. I don't want my partner to fucking bang 30 guys.
Right.
And if you meet a woman who's in her late 30s or mid 30s, chances are, generally speaking, maybe she has been with more men. I don't think any man would want that. Technically, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, purity, I guess, in a sense, is a good thing,
right?
Right?
I think
I agree.
Are we scared to say it? No, I mean,
maybe.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like purity, like it's just.
And then if you ask a woman, right, pure, would you want a pure man? I think they would want like a rugged man. You know what I mean? Like they want someone who's got a scar, who's been through some shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Like a bad, like figuratively speaking. You know what I'm saying? Like they want. We don't want a woman with scars. Right? Women like men with scars.
Yeah.
That's just an example because he's gone through some shit. He's overcome something. You know what I'm saying?
Conquered.
We see a woman with a scar. It's like, bro.
Fuck happened to you?
Yeah, like that's great, but I don't like that you went through that bullshit. You know what I mean?
Fuck you go through, to get a scar, yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah. I think it's just it all depends on the dynamic, but I think overall, I think that's what it is. But women have their certain preferences and what they're attracted to. I don't think that we should be ashamed for evaluating purity. I mean, it kind of feels a little weird to say because it's almost like, are we going to get fucking attacked by all these fucking women who have like 30, 40 partners?
Your guys' demographic is going to change.
I don't give a fuck, really, though.
You guys have
I
more.
Like that.
You guys have more. I would assume you guys have always had more of a female listenership.
Yeah,
than
it's like
male.
80-20, no? Or like
It depends on. Well, it depends on the
70-30.
episode. It depends on if it's audio or if it's. But in general speaking, it's not mainly, but a lot of women.
That's so interesting to me.
Why?
Like because two men having a female heavy listenership, but now you're getting red pilled. I'm noticing it in the content, and you're gonna see. I would assume that you're gonna see your demographics even out a little bit. If I'm guessing,
he's more red pilled than me.
Here's my thing. Because forever, I feel like society has catered to the woman and having to be very careful of how we speak to women, that we should embrace them or their figure, their body, whatever the fuck it is. We always have to be careful with how we talk to women, right?
And that's how you guys were. I feel like I'm being honest. I'm being like.
No, you can be honest.
What I'm doing now is I'm like, hey, I do want to promote, self-love and women, of course, do right, but not at the cost of talking a man down. And I feel like that's the problem with nowadays, that we've given women too much of a platform, too much strength, where they're feeling a little bit too fucking cocky when it's like, listen.
There's nothing wrong with challenging women.
I want you to be better and I want you to succeed. I want you to be happy with everything that you're accomplishing, but don't talk down to a man because You want the respect. How are you going to now disrespect the man? So now we almost have to be careful with how we talk to women. No. If you're going to be a dick and you're going to talk to men, you're, oh, well, yeah, little dick energy and fucking you're not tall enough, you don't make enough money. Well, how much do you weigh? How many partners have you had? What the fuck do you contribute? Like, you know, when Kevin Samuels would have these conversations with women,
but he was also having it with men too. That's accountability,
and that's how I'm taking the same approach, because I'm like, listen, I just don't want men to feel like, well, now I have to, like, no, dude, like, be the fucking man. Be the man. Do whatever you got to do to be that man. And I support. So whenever you have, like, I want to accept all these things that women want and all their preferences. Cool. Yeah, you want this in a man. You want that. Fine. But then don't get mad if a man says that he doesn't want a woman that weighs what you weigh because you're too heavy, or that you got too many bodies. Don't be offended, because now you got your preferences. Why can't he? So that's where my red pill comes in. I just want it to be a balance. Right. Kind of like Thanos, you know? It's not the finger half of the people.
Isn't it interesting how this red pill content is exploding? Because the seesaw is so tipped that we're trying, that like society's trying to, men are starting to like finally be like, bro.
I think they were too far. I think we want to like.
I think there's a huge, or there still is a huge vacuum where a lot of men like didn't feel like, dude, I can't say this, I can't do this, I can't even go to the gym without fucking being accused of fucking looking at a girl, you know, all this type of shit. You know, Andrew Tate, that's how he got so big so fast, because he was like, this is what it is, this is what I believe it, be honest with yourself, and fucking, and call people out on their bullshit. And men were like, oh shit, he's fucking right, you know. I've always thought that, but I just weren't comfortable saying it. And I feel like that's how he got so big so fast. And I think it's okay.
Because everyone thought it. Yeah. Everyone was thinking the same thing he was, but then he was that.
He was that motherfucker.
Yeah.
And the motherfucker who said what everyone now, everyone's like,
who can't be canceled, right? Because is that we're afraid to be canceled. I'm afraid to talk because I don't want a club to cancel me or do all this shit. So I'm afraid of shit. You know what I'm saying?
But now we see someone like Andrew Tate, crazy. It's like this unsung, like, hero, we would say, or what do you call him? An anti-hero.
He's a philosopher, bro. He's like a Socrates. He's like a philosopher at the end of the day.
I think he's like an anti-hero, where we almost like a Deadpool, where is he good? Is he bad? I mean, he's helping society, but everyone's kind of looking at him like, man, it's just different, you know, because he's challenging a lot of these norms that were kind of progressing, and he's like, whoa, hold the fuck up. It's like this, it's like this, it's like this. So I feel like now everyone's like, wait, I mean, he does make sense, but are we allowed to agree with him? Because that's not what society's saying anymore. But it does make sense. I wish I can say what he said, but we finally have an Andrew Tate in this world who is saying it. And now I feel like because that is being exposed and more people are now being more comfortable to agree with him, it's that shift of like, no, like, I think we lost too much control. Like, let's regain it. We can't be afraid to say what we want to say.
I think it's so important.
At the cost of what the response is going to be by others.
I think the key part of it is just accountability, holding men and women accountable. Kevin Samuels was doing it. He would call guys fat fuckers, well, because they were fucking 5'7", weighing 300 pounds. But at the same time, in the next video, he was talking to a woman the same way. And it's like, just because you're a woman doesn't mean that we can't hold you accountable.
Right.
And I think we're, you know, you said it earlier too, like a woman can have all these standards, all these prerequisites, but the minute a man says one thing that he would want his partner to be, all of a sudden it's an issue. Like, no, fuck that. This is what I would like in a partner. And I can live up to that as well. I'm not just fucking talking the talk. I'm walking the walk. I am that person. Yes, I can have high standards. Yes, I can have boundaries and conditions and prerequisites. Same way women can have. So I'm very balanced, you know. Like, I'm not as red pill as Chris, but to a lot of it is true, and I agree with a lot of it.
I just don't want to be taken advantage of.
Yeah,
I just think society got to a point to where we started seeing things to a feminine lens. Everything was seen through a feminine lens of feelings before truth. So it's more about, you know, it's not about who's the best. It's about let's all be the best. No, that can't be real. It's not realistic. Women are too idealistic. You know what I'm saying? Which is an issue. Which is, you know,
I see it like this, dude. Like, for a woman, you know, we want you to contribute to society. And I feel like almost for years, it's almost been like they weren't, because they weren't working. They weren't able to vote. You know, you were one that said, like, there was a lot of restrictions that women had back then. And I feel like now that they can do anything, I feel like just because you can doesn't mean that you have to feel like you need to if you don't want to. And I think that that's kind of been the feminine movement. And it's funny because I've also been seeing a lot of other research of women who were really in this feminine world for feminism, I'm saying. And they're like, man, I regret like I feel like I've been lied to. Like this whole time they made me believe that I need to also work and I need to make as much money and I need to, be a CFO or a CEO of a company or my own boss or whatever. And then they just miss out on a lot of the other things. So for example, when women complain about, men make more. Well, that could be for, different reasons. It could be the type of work, women don't take on the same kind of hard labor jobs as men. But think of it this way. When a woman is pregnant and she's going to have a child, she has to take off of work. While a man, that's like another 9 months or even more, depending on how long the leave is, that a man is constantly at work performing, probably staying later hours because he's not the one that's there having the child taking the leave in order to raise a child. So there's a lot of other factors. So in my mind, I'm like, hey, it's okay if you want to just accept the feminine role. Don't allow feminism to kind of push you into this, because then you feel like, well, I have to work and I need to do this. You like lose everything of what it is to be a woman, of someone to cater to you, to bring you the flowers. You almost lose that feminine side of you because you were forced into this feminism world where, no, I have to compete. I need to be different. I need to now get into this and do that. And I feel like that's where the issue is, where we're kind of forcing them to kind of contribute into the same level as men when I feel like they always have, just in their own way.
Things in a different way.
Exactly.
Yeah, bro.
Exactly. I want a little rant right there.
Yeah, well said.
Solid. That's a clip.
I was thinking that's
Clip that.
Hopefully.
It's man, Casey Chops Road. It's great always to have you on. I knew this was gonna be a fucking great episode, and it's really interesting to see your perspective, listen to you.
It's been an hour. Damn, time fucking flies with homeboy.
It was an hour?
Yeah.
We've been here for an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's nuts.
You have a great perspective, and I really enjoy hearing you speak, your views.
Thank you.
I agree on a lot of stuff, not everything, but I agree on a lot of your shit that you say. And it's important to have these discussions, and I feel like a lot of people are afraid to have them. I feel like we aren't anymore. I think we're like, fuck it, this is what it is. And this I'm at a point where like something we put out stuff and it's like there's a lot of people, some clips, a lot of people just talk a bunch of bullshit. They don't agree. We've had one segment where we're talking about like, it was about, I don't know, gaining weight and stuff like that. And everybody's always like, oh, you got to accept them for who they are. And this and this.
That's the feminine.
No.
That's the feminine, bro.
No.
That's the feminine lens.
No.
That's the perfect example of the feminine lens, bro.
No.
It's not your truth. It's the truth. And there's no such thing as your truth. There's the truth. And you don't accept someone for wanting to be, unhealthy. That is not how we progress as a society and move to the next level. That's how we degrade. That's why everything feels like, to me, it feels like it's all degrading and everything is being degenerate because we're all just worried about our feelings and no duty or honor to something that's outside of us. We're selfish. We're on this life to make sure the next generation is good. We're not on this life to live our best life. We're on this life to make sure our kids are good so they can continue our bloodline. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think all these new ideas are just making people selfish, bro. Like hedonism. Like just live life for pleasure. That's not, consume pleasure seek. Like, nah, bro. Do the hard things. That's where the real pleasure comes from. That's why I say I don't care about being happy. I don't use happy as a metric. Andrew Tate said this, but I really agree with him.
Oh, yeah. I think I heard that.
I don't use happy as a metric because, bro, one day I'm going to be sad, one day I'm going to be happy. Why am I going to care about my current emotion? I care about being successful and achieving. That, in turn, will make me happy.
That's discipline.
So, exactly. So, what that means is you optimal deprivation. You deprive yourself of the things you want short term because you will be happier in the long term. That's where real happiness comes from. Not reaching for the low-hanging fruit all the time when it's available to you. You know what I'm saying?
I remember, he in that same clip, I think I know which one you're talking about. He talks about like, hey, it doesn't matter if I'm happy or I'm sad. And, like, I have to go to the gym. I have to work out. Like, that's a non-negotiable. Like, for my body, for my health, I'm going to go. It's whether I want to or not, that's something that I have to do because that's what's going to get me to the next level.
I think that's bro, now that you say that, I think that's one of the most sexiest qualities in a woman, is a woman who's able to not consume the short term and be like, no, babe, we got to save this money that we're going to spend right now on this Prime 112 dinner. Let's save that for we got goals to make. You know what I'm saying? A woman who could deprive herself because of consumption. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, like not have the quick satisfaction of that moment, but of trying to invest in the long term and reap the benefits of a much bigger reward. Right.
We could eat this bullshit dinner right now, but we got fitness goals that we have to accomplish. We gotta deprive ourselves of this low hanging fruit for the. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I agree. We jumped right into this episode, and we never really talked anything about you and what's up with you, dog. So before we close it out, what's up with you, dog?
Bro, living the fucking vampire life still, bro. In the club, I'm doing like 6-7 parties a week.
Yeah, damn, son.
Yeah, you be posting your schedule. I'm like, damn, those are fucking some good ass gigs.
Yeah, bro. I'm 15 years in this shit, and I'm at my peak, bro. I'm at my climax,
dude.
bro. Yeah, bro. So I'm blessed, man, and I'm trying to find some more bandwidth to like work on my podcast and you know, hire an editor. I need to like start outsourcing. That's always been my problem. Trust issues with outsourcing people to do work.
Yeah,
but I have no choice now. You know what I'm saying? So or else I'm gonna burn myself out. So
yeah, you just gotta build the right relationships, which is I think Marvin was really good with that of vetting the right people. And then just kind of having the conversation. In fact, the other editor, the most recent one, him, like he would literally tell you like, "Hey, can I ask you something, sir?"
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, what's up? And it's like, if I'm messing up somewhere, I need you to like tell me.
Yeah.
Like I want you to tell me.
That's
where
why
I fuck
that kid,
up.
when he told me he goes to Andrew Tate school, I was like, that's perfect, because now I know you're not afraid of me telling something that's gonna make you feel bad.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? I can tell you, bro, like this is not good. We got to do that. I don't got to cater to you like a woman. I could talk to you like a young man.
Yeah, because you're
like,
willing to accept the criticism, to learn.
Yeah.
Right. You want to be better.
Right.
It's that whole competitive edge of you wanting to learn and get better, and you're not gonna like. Imagine if you tell someone like, "Hey, this was done wrong," and they're like, "Well, you're a piece of shit," whatever. Like it doesn't matter. Somebody else would have like. It's like, damn, or well, how can I improve? Like that alone is just like a different mindset, a different, more openness of wanting to succeed. And I feel like that's the difference of when we kind of talk or we say something that's very deferring, and most of it is women. It's almost like a, well, whatever. As to oppose where you say something that's differing to a man, it's almost like, oh, well, how can I use that? How can I learn from that? And I feel like that's like also a big difference.
Yeah. I had one question that I wanted to ask you. Maybe it makes sense actually for the segment too, because it's the times that we're in, especially you're a content creator and stuff like that. I'm sure you've come across that, the whole movement of like gender movement and like the non-binary, how many genders are there? What are your thoughts on that briefly? Yeah, fuck it. We already talked so much controversial stuff.
There's no such thing as your truth. It's the truth. Like
So,
it doesn't. There's
two genders. There's like, what are your views on that?
Yeah, there's two genders, bro. There's two genders. Like.
Yeah.
If we're gonna get into this, like I don't the LGBTQ, like all that. I don't like putting all those things in one group.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'll give you an example. I'll be honest with you. I don't have an issue with homosexuality. I don't have an issue with that. I have a gay uncle. I don't have an issue with lesbian. I don't have who you like sexually. I don't have an issue with that.
Right.
I don't like putting the T in that. I don't like the trans shit. I don't like putting that in, because now we're operating in a place of delusion. Now we're operating. I'm not for the trans shit. Like like I'm not. Yeah. Everyone could do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? But if we have if we're putting that in the forefront of society and showing kids this and all that shit, then it's not an issue if one individual wants to do it. But if everyone's following this, now it's an issue societally. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of delusion. I'm not a fan of thinking you're something that you're not. You know what I mean? Damn, am I gonna get real transparent with this? Okay.
Dude, if not, we'll cut it out.
Bro, but the way that I see it is, I think the T in trans should spell mental illness, dude.
I agree with you.
How are you gonna look? If you like men, cool, dude.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. You like whoever the fuck you like, but don't sit there and tell me with a penis in between your legs that you're a woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like, do you agree that some people, as they grow, they feel like they're the whole identity, they don't know if they were born a woman, but then they want to transition to a man, and
dude, but
maybe
your
be
biology, your body as a man needs testosterone in order to be healthy.
Right.
If I were to like relate this to something like, bro, okay, look, when I was younger, growing up in high school, I hated, all my friends were black. Okay. All my friends were black. Everyone, when they say, what's up, yo, you're the white boy. You're fucking, your hair is gray, see-through. You're fucking, look at the gringo, see-through. Yeah, whatever.
Dumbass.
I was really like insecure about being like Caucasian, like being white. You know what I'm saying? Like I was made to feel like shit for it. You know what I'm saying? And a part of growing up,
trans race.
But this is what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
a part of growing up is learning to come to terms with these things and being better for it. Now imagine if I could be like, when growing up, okay, I identify as black.
Yeah.
And I could change because it doesn't feel good. Instead of learning to live with it, I could just change it and not have to deal with that uncomfortable feeling of learning to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's basically the same shit. Transgender, trans race. And I could identify as a penguin. It's all the same shit.
Yeah, I feel uncomfortable in this situation.
Now,
so
because it's the feminine lens I'm talking about. We're seeing society through a feminine lens. If I don't feel good, then let me cater. Let me change reality to cater to how I feel.
So, but you don't feel like
it's idealism versus realism.
But do you not feel like some men, like or some women too, they feel like, like I'm like I don't feel like that this is the body that I want to be in. I want to be a woman, or vice versa, or men. Do you like psychologically? You don't agree that they could possibly feel that way?
They could feel that way, but I feel ways all the different time.
Yeah,
I feel like it's we're talking about a feeling. Your feelings go away. Feelings change.
Right.
I probably would have identified as a Power Ranger when I was 10 years old.
Right, but
now what, I'm going to tell them I change my birth certificate, I'm a Power Ranger now? And now what happens when I'm 20 years old?
But that's not exactly the same thing, dude. Because now, if you apply that to everything, it's like, well, if no one gives a fuck if you're depressed, stuff like that, like that's, I feel like you don't want to overstep that line either. But if they transition from a man to a woman, and you might not even fucking notice, right? But like, so do you feel like that would be problematic for them to do?
This is my thing. Could we agree that when something is normal, it's the majority, and when something is abnormal, it's the minority, right?
Yes.
So would we agree that that is abnormal?
What? Which?
Trans identifying as something?
I wouldn't say abnormal. I was out of the ordinary. Abnormal?
All right, my thing, no, it's not normal. It's abnormal.
Yeah,
that's what
whatever.
the definition is.
Sure,
it's
sure,
abnormal.
Sure.
Okay.
That doesn't feel good, right? Saying that, but I'm not caring. I'm trying to get to the truth here. I don't care about feelings.
Yeah.
So we cannot take something abnormal and push it to the front like it's normal. That's my only issue.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're afraid of being canceled.
Because we're afraid of making someone feel a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I see that.
It's idealism versus realism, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
I no. The reason it's a tough conversation, right? You know, I mean, or maybe not as tough. Maybe it's black and white, sure. But there's a lot of people. I feel like, again, and we always talk about being empathetic. You know, you don't know how people feel. You know, I don't know what's going on in their mind. Maybe they really are struggling with like having those mental issues.
If I told you I was Christian or Islam and I just say it's against my religion, I don't believe in it. I could just use that as a shield, right?
Sure,
So I mean,
sure.
I don't agree with it because my religion.
Well, I know this guy Matt Walsh. He's the one who did the documentary of What Is a Woman. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but he said it to you, or Jordan Peterson, another one where he goes, "Hey, you can't expect me to want to believe in the delusion that you're in. If you want to believe in that, that's fine, but that doesn't mean that I got to abide by that. So if you want to identify as whatever you want, fine.
Yeah.
But don't expect me to want to follow by that. I could do whatever the fuck I want if you could do whatever the fuck you want.
I'll give you a great example of the idealism versus realism. We might have to cut this out because I'm going to use the R word, but I don't know. Let me know. You know what I mean? Like, this was a topic that Andrew Tate discussed as well. Rape.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Yeah,
we might have to.
that out. Yeah, for sure.
But that's fine.
I'll just say the R word, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were saying women should take some responsibility for the R word.
Okay.
For getting R word, right?
Sure.
Idealism versus realism, right? So in a perfect world, man, for example, if I go down the street with $1 million on me and I lay in the middle of the street in the hood and I get robbed,
Yeah.
I have to take the cops are going to be like, yo, what were you doing? Why would you go $1 million in the street? You're going to get that. We tell people not to steal all the time. Men shouldn't steal, but they are going to steal.
Yeah,
regardless. That's the real. Idealistically, men shouldn't steal, but realistically, men steal, and we have to. So men are all. There's going to be a small percentage of men who are going to be creeps, and they're going to R word. Right.
Yeah.
So we have to tell women to protect yourself. It's not take some responsibility and protect yourself. Don't go in an alley in the middle of the night. And but it's the man. Yes, men shouldn't do that.
Yo, you're
but
right.
in a real world,
I heard this too, actually.
You have to protect yourself.
I heard that
That
too.
doesn't feel good to tell women that. Like, yo, protect yourself. I should be able to dress naked however I want. Ideally, you should. But there's animals out here in the real world, and I have to protect you from these animals. Protect yourself.
Dude,
you understand?
The girl at the gym. You guys didn't see the video of the girl at the gym that was fighting off that guy who broke in, who was trying to grab her? Did you see it?
Yeah.
Hey, that doesn't happen all the time, but there are those people too. And obviously, she wasn't putting herself in a position like, oh, look at me, whatever. She's just working out. But they exist. They exist.
So we have to acknowledge that it's real. It's not. And idealistically, yeah, they shouldn't. The men shouldn't steal. Yeah. The world should be perfect. And we could try to change. We could try to change it, but that's not going to happen. That's not realistic.
Yeah.
So we have to play the cards we're dealt. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, telling women certain things about the world, it makes them feel a way. It shouldn't be that way, but it's that way. Yeah. My job is to protect you
because it's not your truth.
It's the truth, bro. Yeah. It's the truth.
It's true.
So you know. Like I said, saying women take some type of accountability for the R word, you can't say that.
Yeah.
Because that sounds crazy. But when you put it into context like that, you know what I'm saying? How can you not deny that? You know what I'm saying?
This is kind of how Tate is, where if we were to just cut that clip, we can make him seem like an asshole. But dude, it's true. You're gonna go in the middle of the hood with it. Well, first off, if I had $1 million, I probably wouldn't be fucking in the hood. But think about it. Would you put yourself in this situation? I think of it as avoid a situation that you know you probably shouldn't be in. And one of that I use all the time is, especially with relationships, I remember years ago there was a conversation of like, oh, this guy cheated on me, whatever, where was he? Went to this party, whatever. And it's like, okay, if I'm that guy, right, and I go to a party, number one, if there's going to be a lot of women there and I'm not one that I have probably trouble with being faithful or just being or temptation that I can't handle it because I don't have that control, that self-control, I probably shouldn't go to the party anyways. Why would I want to go to a party with that environment and expose myself to that if I don't have the self-control to be there?
Because you're being accountable.
Exactly.
Just be accountable.
Right. So then for me, I'd rather just avoid it altogether, which is similar to not going to the hood. And on some degrees, when it comes to the woman and that, you have to understand, like, it exists out there. You may not come across that, but if you're putting yourself in a position, just like you're in the middle of the hood with $1 million in your pocket, you can't be surprised if you get robbed.
Yeah, I mean, that's like an extreme. I mean, most of the cases, that's not going to happen. You're not going to
right.
Yeah, but I mean, I get what you're saying. And I don't know if it's accountability is the word or you just got to be fucking smart, You just got to be realistic too,
I think realistic and aware. We said it with the last guest.
Awareness.
Is being aware of that it does exist and that it's out there. And then you make the decisions based on that.
Yeah, not operating in how you wish the world was. Yeah. Operate how the world is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
nice. That was actually very nice. Very that was nice. Damn, I was thinking of something I forgot.
I'm glad. Listen, I just wanted to bring that up. I know it's a touchy subject for many people, the trans thing, stuff like that, and the whole the binary thing and stuff like that. I like to believe I'm pretty progressive. I'm pretty liberal. To be honest, I can't get behind the pronouns they, it. Who is it? No, it's just I'm just
delusion. Call it out. Delusion,
there's two genders.
Yeah, dude.
I have no problem with the trans thing, because I don't understand. So I don't want to speak on that.
Maybe you guys gotta educate us.
Yeah, maybe if we can bring somebody on who maybe has had that would be an amazing experience. Because I don't know. I'm not gonna speak for that. But I don't agree with the having special, the bathrooms and all this kind of stuff, like the pronouns and it and they and the whole culture, teaching kids, little kids about. I think that's too far. That's too much.
You get in here of imagine a grown ass man identifying as a little girl and then going into a woman's restroom.
It's the same type of thinking. You can't exactly.
Is that okay then?
I was a Democrat and liberal my whole life, bro. I voted for every single Democratic president. I was liberal, progressive my whole life. And it's the past 3 years with all these new ideas that have been introduced, I turned so conservative. I was never conservative before, bro. So now I feel like it's
too much.
It's too much, bro. The radicals, when I was growing up, the radicals were on the right. It was the crazy Republican, redneck crazy. But now the lunatics are on the left, bro.
Yeah.
I think both sides have very extremisms and stuff like that. Right. So you just gotta, and it's okay to kind of, it's okay to not agree with everything. I'm very liberal, very progressive, but there's a lot of policies that I lean forwards that are more conservative, and that's
you're center left, and that most people are center right, center left. Most people are not extremists, but I feel like that's all that gets highlighted
because it's all that gets spoken of.
Because if you highlight this extreme, now you're gonna get clicks and shit from this people. You know what I mean?
It's we've talked about that at the beginning. Yeah, people just do
it's
stuff.
Attention. Who can get more attention?
Yeah,
who can get
the
more
attention economy? That's what we're in, bro.
Exactly, dude. So, fuck. This was a great conversation.
Yeah, dude.
I'm so glad we had you on, bro, because it's important to have the discussion. I feel like we can have that with you. Wes is fucking fire too.
Dude. In the future, we are thinking of possibly doing a panel, right? With
if you'll be down,
your name came up. We have the professor that we had on, Dr. Hasty. Shout out, Dr. Hasty. You're the GOAT. He's a school professor, psychologist, counselor, you name him.
A lot of
He
experience.
does it.
Yeah.
And then a couple of other people that we've had really profound conversations with, just to set up a panel. And so the invitation is there. Once we do eventually get it set up, yeah, we definitely want you there, and just to have like that open conversation with everyone, kind of like feeding off of each other.
And what I love about you is you're not afraid to talk like how you feel. And it's rare these days for people to kind of speak up and be honest,
knowing it could be controversial.
Yeah, and if you believe in it, I respect that. If you stay true to yourself.
Right, because society has always been men who have different ideas. They're going to fight for the ideas. Like, well, we could fight. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to try to cancel you if I disagree with you. You know what I'm saying? There was a quote, I love it, and I wanted to get it off, is I believe it was Socrates. He said, a society that separates its warriors from its scholars will have its fighting done by idiots, by fools, and its thinking done by cowards. So I'm afraid to speak my ideas because I'm afraid to defend them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could fight me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could either disagree and be respectful, or we could fight. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, I'm not afraid to speak my mind. Like, so I want to give you guys your flowers too, because what you guys have done and what you guys have built in a 2-year span, 3-year span has been incredible. The growth has been incredible. What you've done with your studio has been incredible. It's very hard. There's so much content out right now. Everyone is doing content, and you guys have cut through. You guys have invested in yourself, and I just want to let you guys know, keep going. I'm super proud of you guys.
I appreciate it.
And what I like is that you can see the growth.
Yeah.
And your perspectives, like as you guys talk and as you do episode by episode, you see the growth in you guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I also think that I think it's dope that your podcast is not reliant on guests. I feel like I know about you and I've learned about you. It's not an interview. You guys conduct it as a group conversation, and I think that's important to develop a core following. You know what I'm saying?
And thank you, by the way. I really do appreciate that. And I think that's kind of the point. We do want to be able to make sure that if we're able to document our growth, so can you. You can do it too, audience out there. You could just be open to learning and being open to the different ideas out there. Obviously, you eventually start learning the ones that more match your, what's better suited for you. And that's okay. But it's important to be open because, and I've said it before, imagine if I believe so like 100% onto one thing, and then you had something that made more sense or was just better, or would it's just a better idea altogether. I would be a fool to not want to be open and understanding.
Right. We have to
and adapt and allow that in, or utilize that within my life. And I think that's why it's important. So as we constantly have people here who are challenging our ideas, maybe agreeing, maybe not, but just opening up the platform and kind of like the floor to have these conversations, it really allows us to really be more understanding, to learn. And I think that that's what kind of allows for change. And with change comes with growth and development, personally. And I think that just allowing those conversations just really allows it to broaden everyone's horizons. So
fucking love it,
bro.
Yeah,
you guys are open to different perspectives and to being wrong. You're open to all of it, bro. And that's you're vulnerable, and that's why you guys are gonna continue to climb, bro.
Yeah,
I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong,
and it's so important. Like, and even at the beginning of the episode, when you were talking about like the competition, like at first I'm like I didn't agree, and then you kind of elaborated. I'm like, oh, that fucking makes sense. And so that is so important, to have somebody come on who at first maybe you're disagreeable and you disagree and you maybe don't see eye to eye, but then afterwards you put yourself in a position where you look at it from a different perspective.
It's full context.
That makes fucking sense.
Because we also had the full context.
Because I was like that too. Like I didn't agree, and then I learned from someone like, oh shit, I get it, and then maybe just pass on. And if someone agrees, they agree. If not, if they don't, you know what I'm saying?
And that's okay too.
Yeah.
So I love that.
And with that being said, it is time to break up. Casey Chops, you're the fucking man, dude.
Thank you, guys.
Every single time we bring you on, dude, it really is like, always, dude. The minute you sit on that floor and I press play, it's always like,
it just flows, man. And it's, we have a couple of people that we've had on, and it just has organic conversations. You're one of them. And
genuinely, we don't say this to anybody. Like, if you see it, like for every single time you come on, like from the last time, this time it's funny because we would always like look at the clips and we're like, man, his did so good, and it still continue. I can post a clip now and it'll get like 100,000 views on TikTok, or I'll post it on Instagram and it would fucking blow up.
just because the way you talk, the way you articulate yourself, and the confidence that you have.
Because you're genuine. I think it's also because you're very genuine too. You believe what you say, rather than other people. They sit there and maybe they don't fully believe, or maybe they want to say what they think is the right thing to say.
Right.
When you're like, hey, I don't care.
And people see through
that.
That
It could be your truth, but that ain't the truth. Yeah. And I'm here to speak the truth.
Yeah. And bro, man, keep doing your thing, man. I love your setup. I love how it comes. Like, it's super crisp. It's dope. Be consistent. Work hard, man. And which I know you're doing. And we'll all make it.
Steel sharpens steel, bro.
Yes,
you know what I'm
sir.
saying? Steel
Yes,
sharpens
sir.
steel.
And with that being said, as we break up, I want you to close out the episode. We did a final thoughts, I think, last time, and we're going to do another final thought. So anything you'd like to say to your younger self, or something that you just really believe in, it could be something right now that's prominent in your life, or just something that you've always been like, man, I want to make sure that everybody knows this.
Yeah.
So you can say it to the camera, say it to us, and then sell yourself.
Like what? Like, oh man, what do you mean? Like
for
Like a final thought.
yeah,
like
a final thought. Say, you know what? If
Well,
there's
I wanna-
something that I want to end off with is, I want everybody to know
I want everyone to know my Instagram. That's number one.
that you're gonna sell yourself at the end.
Oh, okay.
So
like
leave a
that.
message. Like, for example, whatever is important to you. Like, hey, live your truth. Don't be afraid. Hey, your truth, the truth, whatever you want. Something that's important to you. That's what I want you to share with the world.
I guess I in the gender dynamic realm, because we're talking a lot about
It
that.
could be anything. It could be anything. Whatever you want. Even if it's living your truth, whatever it is.
Damn, bro, I'm losing.
Don't worry about it. We'll have another to cut it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll cut straight to it.
Thank you guys for having me. If you want to use that clip. Damn, bro. I think men and women need each other. I think that. Fuck. I'm not. I'm gonna.
We lost this light.
Yeah, we lost
we've
the
been recording for a minute.
Yeah.
Damn,
That's
I got a
fine.
tan now. You gave me the tan at the end of the episode.
Yeah,
This
for
fucked
real.
up. Damn, bro.
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, say whatever you want. We'll cut it.
Follow me on Instagram, Casey Chops, KCCHOPZ, Miami on the rocks, MIA on the rocks. Men, just work hard. Don't focus on your feelings. Go to the gym. The gym is the most important thing in my life. If it wasn't for the gym, I don't know where I'd be mentally, everything. Men, go to the gym. Make that a priority over work, over anything. The gym, you have to go to the gym. That is I can't stress how important that is to me, and what it's done for my mental and made me the person I am today. It's like men have to go to war. The gym is how I go to war. Life is soft. There's no war. Well, shit, not right now, but eventually.
Maybe.
Life is soft. So that's how you go to war. Go to the gym. Men, please go to the gym.
Steel sharpens steel.
Steel sharpens steel. And find men that will make you better. 1 + 1 = 3. And then for women, ladies, don't settle. Work on yourself. Self-improvement. I would say not just anchor into how you feel, but I'm gonna fumble that part. So, yo, can we just cut all that?
We'll cut that shit up.
All right, so
Fuck work and go to the gym.
yeah, we'll do this. For the final thoughts this episode, make sure you follow Casey Chops at
KCCHOPZ, Casey Chops.
and Miami on the Rocks.
Yes, sir. MIA on the rocks
There
on
you go.
Instagram.
We'll put it in the description for sure.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Casey Chops, thank you very
Thank you,
much.
guys.
Until next
Ciao,
time.
guys.
Fuck.
Peace.